Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about soft pastels. Kung hindi kayo familiar with the soft pastels, it's okay. Let's discuss the very basic of it today. And for this video, let's start with this one. I have three sets of soft pastels over here, which I bought 14 years ago. I didn't use it for 12 years until I started teaching art school. So, ginamit na to ng mga estudyante ko nun. Sila yung buminyag. Anyway, so soft pastels are very different from oil pastels. Mas familiar tayo sa oil pastels kasi ito yung ini-introduce sa mga mas bata. Kasi mas madali siyang gamitin and mas mura siya compared to the soft pastels. Oil pastel kasi as much as I want to say na messy siya gamitin, mas messy gamitin ng soft pastels in a way kasi since soft siya, it has a powdery consistency. So, kung bata ang gagamit ng mga to, definitely you'll have color all over the place. So soft pastels are mostly used by professionals already or college students na, who's studying art. These ones are my old sets. Ang makikita nyo ngayon sa mga binibilhan nyo like Lazada or Shopee or even sa national bookstores is something like this na ganito na yung packaging niya. So, meron tong mga mas maliliit na version. So, I think meron atang 12 or 16. I'm not sure. Pero definitely merong mas smaller version nito. There is another type of packaging ng brand na to, which is Mungyo. Hindi ko na matandaan if it's green or blue. But ang difference niya is yung size nung pastels sa loob. And if you guys are starting out, I suggest that you get something like this na iba-ibang, mas maraming colors, tapos maliliit. Yan, pagbukas nyo, marami siyang mga powdery, ibang kumalat yung kulay ng ibang pastels. Ganun kasi siya ka-soft. So, konting hawak nyo lang, matatransfer na kagad yung color sa kamay nyo. So, kung ganun dumating sa inyo yung pastels na may mga ibang kulay dyan na nakadikit sa iba pang colors, just wipe it off and you'll be fine. Basta bago nyo gamitin. Kasi kapag ginamit nyo na may ibang kulay siya na nakadikit, matatransfer yung ibang kulay na yun dun sa ginagawa nyo. So, make sure just na, your pastels are clean before you use it. Ito, if you can see, ito yung luma kong mungyo. Ganyan siya kalaki. Tapos, ganito lang kaliit yung set na to. Which is fine, especially when you're starting. Kasi, since malaki yung coverage kasi ng soft pastels. So, in a way, parang siyang charcoal, pero mas malambot pa. So, in terms of coverage, with a little amount, you can, cover everything. Whereas kapag ganito na malaki, okay lang din, but it's good to use this sa mga bigger artworks. So, wala kang problema doon. And if you are using it ng madalas, or ito talaga yung medium of choice nyo, then okay naman na bumili na lang ng malaki din. But if you're starting, dun tayo sa maliit. Speaking of maliit, ito, nabali to. Galing siya sa malaking size, tapos nabali siya. But, don't be alarmed. Kasi binabali naman talaga siya. Especially kung hindi mo kailangan ng malaking size. Kasi kung maliit naman talaga yung surface na kinukulayan nyo, mas maigi naman talaga na mas maliit yung pastel. So, binabali talaga siya. Minsan din, parang ginagamit siya na parang charcoal, yung you scrape off the powder and then transfer the powder to your artwork para mas madali for coverage as well. You can also use your fingers to blend, pero pwede rin gumamit ng mga brush pa kung ayaw nyong madumihan ang kamay nyo. Kasi, speaking of madumi, kasi as you can see, since madali nga siyang mag-transfer, and lalo na kapag we're in the zone, we tend to like use one color and then kukuha na tayo ulit ng isa pa or bagong kulay, which explains why ito may mga ibang kulay yung mga soft pastels, kasi lalo na yung mga light colors. Kasi ang tendency nga natin is kuha lang tayo ng kuha ng soft pastels. We don't actually clean our hands. So ayan pag konting touch lang, natatransfer na yung color from our hands to the pastel. So, alam ko medyo mahirap gawin yon na parang linis ka lagi every time you use it, but necessary step naman siya to protect your materials. So, let's move on to another brand, which is a FaberCastell brand. This one has 72 soft pastels, and what I have for mungyo is 64. So, mas marami to. So, definitely mas maraming colors na available. So, when you open it, ito yung brochure nila, and as you can see, they also have a bigger version of the soft pastels. So, yung bigger version, unlike mungyo, meron siyang balot. So, eto, meron din naman silang available na mas maliit na set. So, if you're just trying it out, then you can try the smaller sets first. Ang masaya dun sa malaki, may balot siya, unlike dun sa mungyo. So, you don't have to worry about your dirty hands transferring other colors to other sticks. But again, if you are starting out, then I suggest that you get the small set tapos yung mas maraming kulay para at least mas makapag-explore kayo ng colors and color combinations. May 3 separate trays siya. So, what you can do is you can get hinahangin. You can get one tray na ganito, and if you are just using these colors, then you can, go anywhere with just one tray. Pwede nyo rin naman i-transfer yung ibang colors in one tray kung gusto nyo. So, here's a side-by-side comparison ng dalawa. So, as you can see, mas maraming color transfers ang mungyo compared to FaberCastell. So, most probably, sa transportation naman nangyari lahat yan. And that actually tells us that mas malambot ang mungyo compared to FaberCastell. Kasi mas maraming transfer na naganap ng ibang colors to other sticks in the packaging. These are the paper that is usually for soft pastels. Nakalagay dito pa siya sketching, watercolor, charcoal, gouache, but I suggest not to use this type of paper with watercolor and gouache unless you're just practicing. But if you need information on which paper to use for each material, you can watch another video that I did, and on that video I discussed all about that. So I'll just link it down below. So going back to this one, this is 160 GSM, and it's in 9 inches by 12 inches, and it comes with 5 sheets in a pack. So may ibang colors like greens and skin tones, and something dark like blue, and something like this, which is almost white in color. So let's start using the white or off-white first. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's texture on this paper. It's what they called honeycomb surface. Para siyang dots. It is similar with the texture of watercolor paper. Similar lang, but it's different. So when you apply the soft pastel over this, then lalabas yung texture ng papel. Kasi nga, ang unang-una talaga niyang mako-cover is yung surface na nakaangat. You can use colored pencils with your soft pastels. Kasi ang soft pastels, pag in-apply mo siya, since it's very soft, mahirap gumawa ng defined edges and details. So you use colored pencils for that type of job. So kasi, yun nga, since hindi naman manipis ang soft pastels, you need sharper edges as well. So for now, let's use a light tone for the sketching. Since light tone naman yung ginagamit ko for sketching, mawawala rin to or magdi-disappear na lang siya. That's also what I suggest, na parang use a lighter tone, almost the same as the tone of your paper, para at least pag nagkulay kayo, hindi siya masyadong makikita. So ayan, very faint lang. So let's start with, let's make a simple orange. So pag in-apply siya, konti lang, konti lang, kasi you can smudge it out like so. And you can continue on applying different shades or tones very, very lightly. Very lightly. Kasi nga, madali nga siya mag-transfer. Magiging paulit-ulit lang ako sa pagsabi nun. Always draw or color lightly first. So that when you make a mistake, mas madaling remedyohan. So soft pastels is very easy to transfer. So ito, tinan niya, I'll draw an aggressive line over here. So pag smudge nyo na yan, ang tendency niyan is to stay there. Kahit na i-smudge natin siya, makikita pa rin yung aggressive stroke. So apply it softly. And then, tsaka tayo mag-smudge or mag-blend. Blending is key. And, of course, kung halimbawa, yung paper nyo ay cream or white or light colored like this one, always use the tone of the paper to your advantage. So, you can leave the paper as your highlight. Ayan. So, halimbawa, hindi ako naglinis ng I have Cheeto hands. What I do is I just use other fingers na medyo mas malinis. And then, I use the finger that I blend with. And then, use that for blending. So, kita nyo, nagbe-blend yung orange from my finger to the green that I just put on the paper. So, let's use another tone, a darker tone. Pag hindi kayo sigurado, you can always put a bit and then blend it. Tingnan nyo kung ano yung nag-work. So, if you want darker tones, you can always use darker tones. Ito yung masaya kapag marami kang color na magagamit. At least, mas marami kayo options for exploring tones. Yan, so let's create a shadow over here. Yan. So, now you have the base, basically. At kailangan ko nang maghugas ng kamay. So, I just wipe off my hands with a wet tissue. Always have wet tissue beside you so that it's easier to clean your hands. Tapos, I'll get a colored pencil and draw or define the edges. So, it really helps with the definition of the object. At least nalilinis niya yung edges nung subject niyo. And you can also use other colors for details. Like for example, ito yung green part ng orange. Kasi I can never do this with soft pastels. Yung ganyan ka-define na detail. So, it's always good to use colored pencils with this one. You can use any type of brand of colored pencils, whichever you have. Ang nakuha ko lang talaga is Prisma, but you can also use Faber or you can use Caran d'Ache if you like. Although Caran d'Ache has a creamier consistency, so baka mas maigi yung mas matigas na colored pencils like Prisma and Faber Polychromos. So yan, I'm just creating some details with a darker colored pencil. Tapos just to reinforce the shadows of the orange, I just put the same hue of colored soft pastels on it. So yan, we have an orange. Yung ginawa ko is yung pinaka-basic na way on how to use it, and it's up to you now to explore on how to use it or how you want to color. Ngayon, gawin natin is a different take or a different way to color. Mas magiging aggressive tayo with the colors. So, as you can see, pag nag-apply ako ng colors, kita nyo agad yung texture ng paper. So, you can color it aggressively like what I'm doing. Ang problema lang dito is mahihirapan kayo in terms of controlling the shades and the shadows and the highlights. Lalo na if you are using a light paper or a light toned paper. So, usually ang most mistakes come from aggressively using the medium. So, kapag bigla ang gamit ng mga like that. So, kita niyo yan, di ba? So, pag pwede nyo naman tagalin. Wala problema yan. Pero yun lang. So, halimbawa, nagkaroon nga kayo ng ganung mali. So, just smudge it out. You smudge it and you smudge it. And then, after that, you smudge it further. And then, smudge it pa. Then, after nun, you'll just be left with an orange blob. Nawala na yung blending nyo. Kasi nga, humalo na yung darker tone dun sa lighter tone. So, what you can do is get a tissue paper. You can lift off that excess powder. Kasi maraming powder yan eh. Kasi nga, ang dami yung in-apply sa umpisa. So, ang dami yan. And ang tendency niyan is kapag nagstay yung powder sa ibabaw, eventually it'll mix with whatever it is na makatouch or tumama dun sa surface niya. So, ngayon, blend tayo ng mas darker tone. So, let's say, hindi ko muna siya i-blend. Kasi parang gusto ko lumabas yung texture niya. Kasi nga, nag-blend na ako kanina eh. Tas nawala yung texture niya. So, that's the only way for me to get the texture that I want. So, hindi ko na siya masyado i-blend. And then, you can use a white for highlights, especially kung hindi nyo na makita yung papel sa ilalim. But again, hindi siya masyadong lilitaw, lalo na kung meron ng ibang kulay sa ilalim. The white will work best over paper. So, or over dark paper, dark colored paper. Hindi siya masyadong tumatalab sa meron ng colors sa ilalim. Ayan, so dahil aggressive tayo sa lahat ng bagay na ginawa natin sa orange na to, pati yung edges niya, hindi na rin masyadong defined. So, medyo kalat-kalat na siya. Tapos, hindi na rin tayo maka-apply ng green sa ibabaw kasi nga natakpan na yung papel ng ibang kulay. So, hindi na tumatalab. So, ang gagawin na lang natin is use colored pencils to define the shape and other color. Pero, hindi rin actually tatalab yung colored pencils sa ibabaw once na may soft pastels na doon. Kumbaga, isi-scrape off lang din ng colored pencils yung mga nasa ilalim. That is the reason why it's good to start coloring lightly first before coloring aggressively. Kasi kapag nagkulay aggressively, mahirap nang bumalik. So, yan ang difference. The first one that we did with all the safety precautions. And then the second one is we just colored it aggressively. Pwede naman kayo magkulay aggressively as long as you know how to manipulate the medium and basically you know what you're doing. But if not and you're just starting, start off with all the safety precautions that you need so that you understand the medium better, and then pwede na kayong gumamit ng ibang techniques for it so that you can also explore. That's it for this video, and I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoy working with soft pastels. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye! Ayaw niyang mag-lift. Come on. Ayaw niya magpabukas.